What is up, everybody? What is up? It is the big weekend. LSU on the road again for a second straight week in the SEC against one of the best teams in the SEC alongside LSU record-wise, at least number 14 Texas A&M. LSU has to take these bastards on in Kyle Field. First time. Can LSU win first time since 2016 at Kyle Field? Not to mention the fact that Connor Wegman also started the last time LSU lost to A&M. It's going to be all up in here during this conversation, during this show, shall we call it, this final preview predictions show. Join us with your beer, with your libations, with your food, with your beverages, anything you've got. If you're in the middle of work, get through it with us here. We're going to try and entertain you and get you through the rest of your work day, because this is we've got to get this weekend all ready to begin, right? This is absolute balls to the wall game we're about to have here. LSU, Texas A&M, in what has started to become a little bit of a rivalry. We laughed at that assertion for a long time. There's no way this is a rivalry. No way this is a rivalry. Come on, guys. Don't say that. And now you're seeing it is becoming that with what 2-2 right now between the two sides, 2-2. So, not what you want to see. Not what you want to see for LSU. It's always favoring the home team. LSU lost in 7 overtimes. I repeat, 7 overtimes at Kyle Field in 2018, first year under Joe Burrow, right? First year Joe Burrow's at quarterback. First year Jaden Daniels is at quarterback, right? LSU, after beating Alabama, come back and say, okay, now all we have is A&M. Now all we have is A&M in our way, and we're just going to go through and waltz into the SEC title game, which we already knew we were going to qualify for. And instead, LSU goes into Kyle Field, and Shane Wegman only having to go 12 of 18 for 155 yards, throwing 2 touchdowns. They kicked our ass. Oh, my God. Shane just drove the ball right up our asses for 4 quarters, really. What was it, 200 and something yards? A&M went off. Wegman only had to throw 18 total passes. Wegman only had to throw 18 passes. 2 touchdowns, and that was the difference right there already. But it spoiled the season somewhat. Spoiled the season going into the SEC title game, because you knew even if you beat Georgia, you didn't know really would we have been the 4th team in that playoff scenario? Maybe had we beaten Georgia after. But if we had taken care of business against A&M and then beat Georgia, at least going into that SEC title game, you know, if you get through this game, you're going to be one of those top 4 teams. Instead, LSU threw that opportunity away and got absolutely boat raced, ripped to the tits by A&M in that game in 2022. Last year, you saw, Malik Neighbors setting the all-time LSU receiving record on A&M. You saw Jaden Daniels setting records against A&M, and it was kind of like the Alabama game last week. The Arkansas game last week for LSU, where LSU got through to a leisurely victory. You know what I'm saying? Like, not coasting to victory, but like every side made plays. It just seemed so thoroughly professional. Like if your favorite soccer team goes out there and wins 2-0, scores an early goal, takes control, outclasses the opponent, and then scores a beautiful late second goal. and just kind of passes the other team off the field. They just can't get a hold of the ball. They just get worn down. It's the same thing in football, what you've seen with LSU doing, where it might not be 5-0, 6-0 every game, in a soccer, comparing it to like a soccer team scoring that many goals, having all these superstars, Pele, a Messi on the team, a Ronaldo. You're getting a different flavor here, a different vibe with this LSU football team. And we've still got tons of star power on this team, This team is just barely scraping the surface of what is possible in 2024, let alone 2025, especially if we can retain a lot of these same guys. But as we go through in this preview, I'm going to make some predictions, make some calls about what is going to come ahead that may shock you. Leave a comment in the comment section, like and subscribe. We hardly ask for that, so we're going to do that right now. Let me share this one last spot. We were on Tiger Rag Radio the other day. Thank you to those guys over there for having us on Tiger Rag. Big time, like one of the most historic LSU coverage papers, literally on campus, university funded, I think, maybe. I'm not 100% sure on the funding, but at least on the university, this is a crazy endeavor. Tiger Rag. I love that they're doing a Tiger Rag radio segment with some podcasting and stuff as well. And I've always been into Tiger Rag, and I've heard of a lot of other diehard fans who have been reading our stuff over the years who would also mention Tiger Rag, and I'd be like, "What's Tiger Rag?" And like, I believe Cody Warsham worked at Tiger Rag at one point. There's a lot of different LSU media luminaries who've worked at Tiger Rag or have been associated with Tiger Rag in some way. And so it was very cool to be on their show, talking about the A&M game, talking about what's possible from LSU in this game going forward, what is possible for this team this season, and what has been a season where LSU could have 3 losses right now. And instead we're 6-1. We only threw away the game, in Vegas, and it feels like all the cards are on the table and all the possibilities are ahead, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel that way? I mean, I'm not trying to get too ahead of ourselves right here. And I think that's the secret to this team's success has also been that they haven't gotten ahead of themselves. They've stayed one game at a time and very dialed in on that type of thinking of being one game at a time, And so we're going to follow in lockstep with them on that and be one game at a time as well, and kind of go on this roller coaster ride alongside this LSU, this young, inexperienced, short on depth. This team has some issues, but they make you just really want to root and love this team and respect this team because they're giving you all they got, right? On every single play, whether it's the offensive line not even allowing a single sack on Garrett Nussmeier. I believe the only sack this season was allowed by Josh Williams. Yep, Josh Williams allowed that sack. So my point is there's been some grit on this team everywhere you look. JVR Suggs coming off the bench, getting, how many sacks does JVR Suggs have now? I mean, this is ridiculous. This guy, everyone laughed when we broke the news about him. Everyone's like, "Oh, well, of course Lon's going to break the news on a guy who's not going to be high impact. He's a Grand Valley State." Like, but at least we finally got a defensive lineman through the DT in the portal. That's kind of some of the narrative about that at the time. And so far, what you've seen from JVR Suggs has been incredible. He's given you so many high quality snaps. 1.5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, 2 pass breakups, 2 batted passes, 7 total tackles, and I'm sure his snap count is probably pretty low. Let me look that up real quick. PFF. Suggs has only 87 snaps. Suggs is ranked 18th in snaps. He is 14 snaps behind PJ Woodland, and Jordan Allen then is 16th with 111. Then it goes J.K. Johnson 15th with 113, and then a big jump from those guys to Deshaun Spears with 156, Ahmad Bro 171, Gio Paez 222. Harold Perkins still at 224, still 11th at 224. He played every snap in those 4 games. Parashon 230, Zy Alexander 235 at number 9. Jordan Gilbert, number 8, leading the team in defensive snaps at 284. Number 7, Sage Ryan 307. Number 6, Savion Jones 330 snaps. 5, Braden Swinson 339. A jump of 20 snaps here with number 4, Greg Penn III with 359. Of course, he probably wouldn't miss any snaps this season had he not missed the game against Arkansas with that injury. And then Major Burns and Whit Weeks both tied second place with 281. I'm sorry, 281. 381 snaps. So Whit Weeks not even playing more than 21 snaps in the first game, only like 30-something in the second game, has now already got 381 snaps, good for second. And then guess who leads the defense in snaps? Ashton Stamps leads the defense in snaps right now. Ashton Stamps leads the defense in snaps with 415 snaps. Okay. Let's see how many pressures JVR Suggs has. JVR Suggs has 7 pressures in 87 snaps from the defensive tackle position. That is beautiful, high quality. That is sexy football. That is sexy football. And as you can see, literally there is not much for Connor Wegman to really get going with this Texas A&M offense against this LSU defense. They have Le'Veon Moss, a Struma High superstar. We all know about him. He should have been an LSU Tiger. He wasn't. Whatever. If LSU can contain him, even let him get a 200-yard game, I don't care. As long as he's their only contributor, they're not going to win this game against us. Noah Thomas, 289 total receiving yards, leads all of the Aggies. All the Aggies pass catchers, including running backs, tight ends, whoever. He also is first with 21 catches. That leads everyone. And he's also first with 3 receiving touchdowns. So, wow, in comparison, Lacey for LSU is first with, I think it's 512 yards, 36 catches, and then he's got 7 touchdowns, I believe. So, yeah, there's not very much for Connor Wegman to throw to. Connor Wegman has thrown for more interceptions than he has touchdowns. 4 interceptions, 3 touchdowns, just 718 passing yards this season. It's been bleak offensively for them. Still, they're 4-0 in the SEC, just like LSU. 56 of 91 for a 61.5 completion rating. And, they're getting 186.1 passing yards per game. But then they're averaging 218.6 on the ground, rushing the ball. Once again, Le'Veon Moss has been incredible. 674 yards for Le'Veon Moss. 6.4 per carry, 8 touchdowns. Just a beast. Just incredible. Amari Daniels has chipped in. He's got 5 scores even himself. Like, the backs have done it. But here's the thing. Wakeman's going to need a lot more help. A lot more help. Look at that. Look at that. Terry Bussey. Terry Bussey is a rushing touchdown. Well, remember him? Remember Terry Bussey? A lot of LSU fans will remember that name. Here, bud, I need my water. What is this game telling you? What you're looking at this game, you're watching Texas A&M, highlights, film. You're deep diving into what Texas A&M is about, right? Is this team going to actually beat LSU? Could we actually lose to this team? No way. You're going through it all, right? I really don't understand. I understood more of a fear over Arkansas than I understand the fear of A&M. This I don't really understand. I don't really understand the fear over Texas A&M. Sorry, the glistening on my face is actually from this stuff, coconut oil. We did a shave real quick, and then the best aftershave in the world is called coconut oil. Oh my God, it feels so good on the skin. There's no burn, there's no nothing. Oh my God, it feels so good. If you like really hate aftershave, try coconut oil for aftershave. Seriously. LSUODYSSEY.COM, brought to you by Kroger's coconut oil. Just kidding, just kidding. Fake sponsorship. That was a joke. So yes, Connor Wegman, he beat LSU before, throwing only 18 total attempts. Okay. Shielded by a damn good defense on the night. Shielded by Mike Denbrock and Jane Daniels and offensive conservatism in 2022, as well as the receivers dropping huge key passes. I remember Lacey dropping big third down passes, stuff like that. That cannot happen in Kyle Field. Lacey cannot be dropping more passes. I mean, Lacey's continued to do it, even as he's continued to be LSU's number 1 receiver. And we love Kyron Lacey, we love this kid. But, like, dude, you got to catch the fucking ball. Like, yeah, 6 touchdowns, 512 yards, 14.2 per catch from Lacey, okay? And then let's see how many drops. Drops. Lacey's got 4 drops. It feels like it's more. Taylor has 2. I think one of them was tipped, though, and he probably shouldn't be charged with that one. Kyle Parker has the other one. 10 drops. 3 from Aaron Anderson. Weird. I don't remember those 3 really sticking out to me, because the ones that Kyron Lacey drops tend to be on third down. I remember tracking that stat, and I think all but one of the passes he dropped in 2022 came on third down, and then all of the ones he dropped against A&M came on third down. And one of them actually came on a fourth down opportunity. And then Lacey has done that this season, where a few of them have been on third down as well. He's been lucky that some have been on just kind of, first, second down, but some of them have been on third down as well and screwed drives over. Cost our team points, cost our team, good positions in games, stuff like that. Now, that's what I'm going to say if A&M wins tomorrow, huh, buddy? Now. And that's the thing you have to keep in mind. LSU have not won at Kyle Field since 2016. Jaden couldn't do it. Joe couldn't do it. Last time we did it, Danny Etling did it with a guy named Darius Geis, a record breaker, and then a heartbreaker off the field. Someone who we haven't quite, the dust hasn't quite settled on him really yet with his legacy and history for LSU and really society. But at once upon a time, he was a fantastic, stellar Tiger, a machine. And him and Danny Etling absolutely eviscerated them at Kyle Field. It was kind of a welcome to the SEC, bitch kind of moment. It was cool. It was one of Danny Etling's by far one of his best games, I believe. So LSU, yeah, there's some things going against LSU. Wegman's beaten LSU before. He knows what it feels like to start against the Tigers and beat them with that home crowd behind him. There's a blackout. There's going to be all this crazy vibe, at Kyle Field. But here's the thing. What type of vibe does Kyle Field give out more than anything? This weird kind of culty, skull and bones, kind of like, gay hazing type thing. Like that's more what I'm getting a vibe of. And so I don't think our guys are going to be like, oh, Kyle Field is going to scare the crap out of us just because everyone says it's going to be loud. Like, I don't think they're going to be bowled over by the noise. I don't think they're going to be bowled over by the moment. I don't think they're going to be bowled over by, oh my God, there's another stadium that could be loud in college football. No way. I don't think that's going to have any effect on LSU. Yes, the one thing that I do worry that it will have an effect on, I take that back. These procedural penalties up front with the offensive line, where you got false starts, delay of games, all these bullshit penalties, illegal procedure, just all of this bullshit, mostly false starts. And a lot of it has involved DJ Chester, but Will Campbell's been guilty as well. Garrett Dellinger's had a few flags. Like Miles Frazier, like Emory Jones is the only one I think who's been clean of the flags. And so it's like, we have to just understand here that this offensive line haven't allowed a sack to Garrett Nussmeier, okay? They've been unreal. They're starting to get this running game going. They still have a chance to really set in stone that legacy they were hoping for that seemed like wasn't going to be possible a couple of games into the season, where it was like, wow, this is not the offensive line we thought we were going to see, blah, blah, blah. You heard a lot of that type of narrative. While at the same time, the pass blocking was insane. They just needed a dynamic running back, or give Caleb Jackson the ball with some outside runs, instead of just running him up the middle. But it seems every time they give the ball to Caleb Jackson, they just want to run him up the middle and then sit him down on the bench. So it's kind of strange. But they finally generated a running game with Caden Durham, and you're seeing this offensive line grow from strength to strength to strength. But the penalties is what's holding them back. And the penalties is what held us to a few field goals. And the penalties is what forced a few punts. I don't think A&M has that explosive of an offense that's going to be able to punish LSU unless Le'Veon Moss breaks a few. And here's the thing. He's more than capable. And here's the thing, definitely. He's played against a lot of the guys who are going to be taking the field for the Tigers. You think he wouldn't want to break a few on those guys? Wouldn't want to cross some guys over? Break some ankles? Of course he wants to. Of course he's going to try everything in his damnedest to make that happen. But here's the thing. You look at the injury report for this game, okay? You look at the injury report for this game. A few things really stick out here for both teams. One, Greg Penn III, who, Devon Keys came in and really replaced him just fine. But you want Greg Penn III. You don't want him to be hurt, right? He's probable for the game. Fantastic news, okay? But then Chase Basantis, easily, if not A&M's best offensive lineman, then their second best offensive lineman. He is out for this game. Out for this game. Incredible reversal of fortune, and potentially a savage, devastating loss, and for the Aggies, and potentially a pathway to the quarterback for Braden Swinson, Savion Jones, JVR Suggs, Gio Paez, Ahmad Bro, Dominic McKinley. I mean, all of these guys have been in on the ass kicking, the ass whoopings. It's been beautiful to see. This is incredible. '23 defense after 7 games, and then the 2024 defense. It's like a difference of 68 points, almost. That's a ridiculous amount of more pressures. Like, wow, 44 more pressures. 9 more forced fumbles. It just shows that LSU are actually hitting people harder. There's one thing that the Matt House defense led over Matt House, and that's interceptions. They had 6 to our 4. But, like, come on. They also allowed 3 teams to score over 39 points. 2 teams over 40 points just in those first 7 games. LSU's defense this year, the most we've allowed a team to score, 33 points. South Carolina. 33 points, and then 27 is the next highest total. LSU's defense has been awesome. And so, you know what? So is A&M's. The most that A&M is allowed is, what was it, 24, 26? It was in this last game where they allowed their most points. Let's take a look here. Oh, you bastard. I don't want to read through their whole... Yeah, they allowed a team to score 24 points this last week, Mississippi State. Wow. And then Notre Dame scored 23 on them in a loss. They lost by 10 in that game. They then won 52-10 over McNeese, 33-20 at Florida. Bowling Green scored 20 points as well, 26-20. Close win over Bowling Green when they were ranked number 25. Then when they're ranked number 24, they barely edge Arkansas in the Southwest Classic there in Dallas Cowboys Stadium with Jarrah. And then October 5th, number 9 Missouri. They absolutely walloped number 9 Missouri 41-10. And then at Mississippi State 34-24. So, okay, here's the thing. They've had some close games. They've had some tight games. And then I kind of haven't really understood that they've actually had some beatdowns. They've actually beaten a few teams down. Want some Lucky Charm? There you go. You can have one. You want a second? Okay. You can have 2. You can have 2. That's it, though. Okay. A second. What are they called, Seiji? Charm? Can you say it? The charm? Oh, he's not even going to make you guys laugh with calling him Chum. There he goes. Wow, so the most points A&M have allowed is 24 this season. 23, and then 2 teams scored 20. The number 9 Missouri victory, 31-point victory, 41-10 is probably their most impressive victory. And guess where it took place at? Kyle Field. They also, though, lost to number 7 Notre Dame in a big time, prime time slot, all that stuff at Kyle Field as well, opening week. So this goes both ways. You know, this goes both ways, in my opinion. This is a game that they absolutely could choke and lose at home. It doesn't mean Kyle Field it's impenetrable. Why do so many LSU fans feel Kyle Field is almost like impenetrable? It's a curse. It's there's no way LSU is going to win there. There's a lot of I see there's a lot of fear from fans. I don't understand. I actually felt more fear about LSU going into Fayetteville than I do about LSU going into Kyle Field. That's not because I don't like A&M or something. I'm looking at these games objectively. What I see objectively is a team that's better in LSU, a team that's more balanced in LSU. I see a team that's although Garrett Nussmeier has thrown the football, you know, it hasn't been completely pretty the last few weeks. There have been some throws that are just NFL type throws that no other quarterback in the SEC I've seen be able to make, or probably even have the balls to throw or even attempt. And Garrett Nussmeier, that's our quarterback. And whether you want to say, "Oh, you can tell it's his first year starting," blah, 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 I think that's bullshit. I think he's having a better first season than Joe did. I think he's having a better first season than Jaden Daniels did. I mean, I think you can say the Jaden Daniels thing might be debatable, though, because Jaden Daniels could do it through the air and with his feet, and he was losing games kind of in spite of him. He was winning games in spite of the weaknesses around him. He was elevating everything. Nussmeier has done that as well. I think there is a desire for this offense to start throwing downfield a lot more and start unleashing these deep, explosive plays, but they're not hitting them. And you're seeing these shots be some of the more ugly passes in the games, right? Some of these shots downfield, you're like, what is he looking for? Why didn't he take this wide open thing over the middle for 20 yards? They're trying to get the explosive passing game going, but it's not there right now. And I think it's kind of strange to force it. And I think you'll see Nuss correct that in the film. And I think you'll see him in this game take what he can get underneath and absolutely wear down A&M through the passing game. That's what I think you're going to see in this game. We expected LSU to be kind of destroying Arkansas's defense. Even though I predicted LSU to lose that game in a close game, I predicted LSU and Nussmeier to put up a lot of yards, just not be able to finish in the red zone, which is what happened. But thanks to a Whit Weeks interception and some turnovers and stuff, things changed. Caden Durham. Still, I predicted Nussmeier was going to throw the ball all over the place and put up a ton of yards and touchdowns, and they were going to be kind of Chinese death torture with passing. All these little passes, boom, 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 extensions of the running game, just because I thought the running game might not be there. This game, I think, is where you actually might see that. I don't think you're going to see Caden Durham swallowed up and denied and shut down. But I think it's going to be a lot more difficult for Caden Durham to get, a 100-yard game against this A&M defense. It's It's a hard-hitting defensive front. It's a solid defensive front. It's an assignment strong defense under Mike Elko. It's a defensive-led team under Mike Elko. But there's something about this LSU offense where I'm just like, they haven't even scraped the surface of what they could do to this A&M. Like, I feel like that one of these games is going to be the breakout for this offense where suddenly they're going to drop a 40-point game out of nowhere. They're going to just blow someone off the field, and everyone's going to be like, whoa, take notice. Like, what just happened? What just happened there? LSU have an absolutely elite offense, and right now you're looking at all the numbers, you're looking at all the trends, all of this stuff offensively. LSU definitely have one of the better offenses in college football. But there's so much more this offense could be and so much more this offense could do. And for starters, finishing in the red zone is paramount. It's absolutely embarrassing when you have a backfield of Caden Durham, Caleb Jackson, Josh Williams. I know that's only 3 guys, but one of those 3 has got to be able to run the football in from a yard out, 2 yards out, right? And now you're starting to see it. You weren't able to see that first few games of the season. And even though we're screwing up in the red zone still, it's not – it's been more through poor play calling, poor management, poor execution, penalties than being incapable of running the football in the red zone. That seems to have been remedied. Oh, I just this game does not. I don't get as much anxiety from this game as I did last week because that game showed me so many things about this LSU team. Like, not only are they not going to take weeks off the field, not only are they, they found their identity defensively, but this is a team with Blake Baker, with this offensive system, this setup, where Nussmeier, one second. Sorry for that interruption. I can't even explain that ridiculousness. Jesus, I honestly don't see how, in any shape, way, or form, LSU could lose this game. Do you? Like, I am going to I understand that it's an intense SEC, primetime game, and it's blah, 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 the rival. I don't give a shit. LSU should beat Texas A&M here. This should be a game LSU wins. The Arkansas game was far more dangerous to me, far more appealing in a way of like, there's some real danger, some real stakes on the line here. Where is this going to go? How is this going to go? Are we going to get out of this one, Bobby? Type of thing. Like, it was it was a little bit of some surreal feelings to that one. And then LSU went in there and just took care of business and dominated them in a thoroughly professional, devastating manner. And so I'm thinking, is that the real LSU right there? Because if that's the real LSU, what they showed us against Arkansas, they should have no problem beating this A&M team. However they do it, whether that's running the ball down their throat with Caden Durham, Caleb Jackson, Josh Williams, whether that's through the air, whether it's a balanced mix of both, whether it's Garrett Nussmeier just goes off, just goes crazy for 400 passing yards, something like that. There is a variety of possibilities here in this game. The number one possibility I just don't see happening is an A&M victory, though. I have no problem picking an opponent to beat LSU, as you know from last week. We have no problem picking an LSU loss if that's what we see happening here. I can't see it, and I think there's a lot of fear over this game for nothing. And I think LSU are going to win this one 31-16. I think LSU are going to get up on A&M, get a few turnovers from Connor Wegman, and just slowly squeeze and strangle the Aggies for 4 quarters. Like, they are really going to just suffocate them with defense, suffocate them with people like Whit Weeks, with JVR Suggs, with Ahmad Bro, with Geaux Paez, with all these dudes flying around. And then they're disrupting everything, getting their hands up. Deshaun Womack coming off the bench, batting 5 passes already this season. And then you've got Braden Swinson. This game is set up without Chase Basantis out there. This game is set up for Braden Swinson to go and just eat, to dominate. And I'm looking forward to this game. I believe LSU are going to go out there, and Kyle Field is going to mean nothing. Kyle Field is going to be no intimidation, and it's going to be a thoroughly professional, thoroughly entertaining, thoroughly controlling beatdown. You're going to score 31 points, the most allowed by this A&M defense yet this season, and you should probably score about 38, if not more. And you're just going to, because this is a great defense too, they're still going to make a few good plays, and they're still going to show up and keep you out of the end zone as much as they can, but they're not going to be able to do it for very much long. There's going to be a few moments where you're going to need Ramos to make a kick, but really, this game is going to be taken over early and quick by the arm of Garrett Nussmeier. The legs of Caden Durham, the tackling of Whit Weeks, the insane, beautiful front play that we've seen from Braden Swinson, Savion Jones, Geaux Paez, JVR Suggs, Ahmad Bro, Parishon. The list goes on and on and on. Of these guys have been incredible. Greg Penn III coming back. Sage Ryan has been playing his best football in his entire LSU career, and it looks like he's going to make a play at any moment. In fact, he's forced 2 fumbles, recovered 2 fumbles in 2022. He batted a pass that was picked off and returned for a touchdown by Frank Wilson IV against Purdue. He's created 5 turnovers that way. Then he had 4.5 TFLs last year. He has never had an interception at LSU. I think Sage Ryan is going to have a pick in this game against Connor Wegman. He's going to have an interception. A very key interception on Connor Wegman. It's Brian Kelly's time, 31-16. LSU are going to take control of the SEC, baby. LSU are going to take control of the SEC here. 31-16. LSU are going to be out in front with a bye, and then Alabama at home. Everyone, check out the preview we also wrote on LSUODYSSEY.com. We have something also coming in the works that I think you will not want to miss. So keep your eyes peeled on LSUODYSSEY.com and our social media over the coming days, because this is something that I think is going to blow some minds. So thank you, everybody, and God bless. Have a good one, and go Tigers.